Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix. Welcome to Classy Movie Rambles, where I talk about old movies that I found in my closet while cleaning. This week's movie is Predators, and it's an action movie from 2010, and it's about 1 hour and 46 minutes long. And the movie starts with the main character falling down from the sky with a parachute and crashing down into the jungle, and he's confused. And all of a sudden, another guy crashes down, and he's equally confused, and he starts to wave his guns around. And after that, another guy drops in, but he's dead. His parachute didn't deploy. And all of a sudden, they are under gunfire by a railgun, so they take covers among the roots. And the main character sneaks up on the gunman while he's reloading, and they talk him down, basically. And they start to discuss among each other what actually happened, and they remember a bright flash, and all of a sudden they were falling. And while they're discussing what happened, a girl waves at them with like a sniper rifle, and they talk her down too. And in the background there is like this Japanese man following them. They haven't seen him yet. I think he's part of the Yakuza because he has a really fancy suit. And they come across two guys fighting on the ground. One of them is wearing this orange jumpsuit, so he's a convict, obviously, and he's fighting this other black man. I think he's a guerrilla warrior, yeah. And it's kind of a funny thing because these people don't really know each other, and they are kind of confused on why they're even here. So they come across a young man stuck in the tree with his parachute and everything, and this is a scene that will become important later. The main character asks the young man if he has anything sharp to cut himself down with from the tree, and he says he doesn't have any sharp objects or knives or whatever. So the main character shoots him down, and he falls down in a puddle of water. And then they join each other, and they come across the Japanese Yakuza character in front of a totem. So it's like this sacrificial kind of alien structure where there are lots of bones and stuff, and they're kind of confused over what's really been happening. And after this little part, they realize that the doctor actually has a knife. The young man is a doctor, has a scalpel on him. And they will try, basically what they're trying to find out is where they are. So they need to head to high grounds, and they wander through the forest, or the jungle, I should say. And they come across like other parachute, like one parachute, and there's an open cage. And they kind of look into the cage, and it's empty. And then they look up into the tree line or whatever, and they see lots and lots of cages that are open. And they don't really know what's going on at this point. And then they walk on trying to find high grounds, and they fall victim to traps. And they find a guy that was responsible for laying these traps out. Like he was a U.S. Special Forces guy, and he was trying to defend himself from something. And his rib cage is all bursted up, like from some kind of weapon they don't really know. And then they actually reach the high ground. There is a clear sky, and they realize that they are actually not on Earth. They are on another planet. And then a convict wants a gun because the other guys have guns. He has nothing. So he uses a shiv to threaten the guerrilla warrior to get a gun, and then he gets a gun to the face, and he quickly quits his thing. And then the group is attacked by a group of alien dogs meant to flash them out, so they waste a lot of ammo, and they kill some of them, but there's a whistle, and the dogs return to their owners. And then the leader kind of tells them that, well, we are actually being hunted. We are being game, fair game for them, actually. So what happens is that the aliens use one of the characters as bait. Basically, one of the characters from the beginning of the movie is like from the Mexican cartel. And they use they lure them out, basically, but they realize it's a trap, and they leave him there. So the girl sniper puts a bullet in him, and they realize that he has been dead for a very long time, and it's a trick. The alien used these kind of voice boxes to emulate voices and try to lure him into a field of like traps. But they decide to follow the dog trails back to the owners, and they find like a skinned creature, and they find their camp, and they find another predator that has been tied up to this offer like a totem because he has probably done something bad, and they just want to make an example of him. And then the aliens attack him at the site, and Nikolai, the Russian guy with the railgun, his gun gets destroyed, damaged, and then they run from the aliens and they fall down a slope and then into the water. And when they're like crawling up on the water, from the water, there's like this drone that surveys them and sees them and goes back to the group of predators. And they're basically 3 predators, and they always hunt in groups of 3. So they argue on what to do, and the sniper is forced to tell him what she knows because she mentions the predators from before. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this character is the same character that was in the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think they're the same girl. I don't know. I'm not sure. But their plan is to wait the predators out. So they use the doctor as bait. So basically, he runs through the forest, and they think they have the aliens, but there's like this other kind of primitive aliens that the predator uses. So basically, they kill them, and then they are confronted by another survivor from a previous kind of drop down with parachutes and stuff. And he's played by Lawrence Fishburne, and he uses the alien tech to turn invisible because the predators have cloaking devices. And he takes him back to his base where he survived, and it's like this, it looks like a ship, but it's like a drilling operation. And he takes him in there, and he has been there for so long, and he's really crazy, and he has a split personality. So I think Lawrence Fishburne does a brilliant job of portraying this character that's like, he's been there so long, and the only thing he thinks about is survival, and he's gone crazy. So that's actually what's happening. There's like brilliant acting, and they take refuge in his craft, and that's what happened basically. So the Yakuza guy picks up a katana that Nolan has in his drilling operation or whatever, and he explains that the predators take trophies. So if they defeat a worthy opponent, they take some souvenirs or trophies from them. And then they ask the Yakuza guy how you can talk English. Well, that's why he lost his fingers, because he talked too much. And then Nolan tries to smoke him out. Basically, he puts up a fire and he tries to blow the smoke into the little room they're in because he doesn't trust them. He just wants their stuff basically because he's a scavenger. And then the main character shoots a gun, not to kill Nolan, the Lawrence Fishburne character, but to lure the predators there, and they arrive and they basically kill Nolan, and then the other guys run. And then what happens on the way when they're trying to run away from the predator, the doctor, the young man, gets lost, and the predator kind of confronts him, and then Nikolai, the Spetsnaz guy with the big railgun, he helps him out. And what happens is that the doctor gets away, and the Spetsnaz guy he's been put down by this big predator, but he's rigged himself with grenade and stuff, so he basically blows the predator out. And then they kind of basically celebrate what's been happening, and then the convict gets shot in the back by like a plasma blast, and then the alien he gets jumped by him and stabbed multiple times by the ship, but then he pulls out the spine of the convict. It's really brutal, but I think that's a homage to the older movies back in the day. So they basically try to run from him, the predator, and they get out in this like big open field, and the Yakuza guy stays there and he draws his sword. He wants to buy this some time, and then there's kind of a cool fight between the predator and the Yakuza member. So there's like this epic like anime moment, the fight with swords, and they kind of hurt each other equally as much, and they do like a draw thing, and he kills the predator and he dies as well. He gets sliced up. So basically what happens is that the doctor gets his foot trapped in one of those like alien traps. So the main character says like, well, we have to leave him here. He will only slow us down. And the sniper girl kind of doesn't agree with him because he has shown little human emotions up to this time. So what happens is he basically leaves him there, and the girl takes the doctor with him. So excuse me, the main character goes to the camp and frees the alien from his bonds, and he explains to him like what they want to do. They want to get off this island. They want to take, or this planet I should say, take the alien ship, just fly away. So what happens is the alien puts on his tech and he activates the ship, and Meanwhile, this is happening. The doctor and the girl gets trapped in a net, and the last predator standing, the leader, takes basically takes him to camp, and he throws him down a hole, and the two aliens or predator aliens, they fight each other, and the leader tries to fly off with the ship. So the predator leader kills the rogue predator, and the doctor double-crossed the sniper. He has like his scalpel, and he puts some venom on it, and he basically cuts her in the throat or like in the side of her neck, so she gets like paralyzed. And then the alien leader blows up the ship that is about to take off, and then the leader of the human guys helps the doctor and the woman out of the hole, out of the net, because he wasn't really on the ship. And the doctor, because he's double-crossed them all, he's like a psychopath, like a doctor psychopath. Good title. He tries to kill the main character, but he stabs him in his own throat, and he gets like paralyzed, and then use him as a booby trap to lure the alien to him, and basically blows up. So some of his tech is kind of broken. And then this is one of those things where the human leader, the good guy, or taunts the predator leader, and he's put on, like from the first movie, he has smeared himself up in mud, because you know that the predator alien can see heat signatures, so he is basically trying to fool him. And this is all weird because it's rigged up, and he uses fire, like a firewall, to kind of confuse him, and he goes in to like bash him up. But the alien has other types of visions, so he basically sees what's going on, and he gets the upper hand to start beating the shit out of the human guy, basically. And the girl sniper basically tries to shoot, but she's half paralyzed. But she managed to pick up her gun, her sniper rifle, and shoot the alien guy. And that's enough time for the human leader to grab the predator alien's axe, and basically chop his head off. And then there's this like heartwarming scene when they finally introduce to one another who they are. He says that he's Royce, and she says that her name is Isabel. And the next day, more parachute drops down from the sky, and it's a new season that's about to begin for these predator hunters. So what do I think about this movie? Well, I think it's a good action movie. Just like Aliens, the first Alien movie. And it's meant to be fast-paced and action. If you look at it as an action movie, it's pretty good. And the effects are kind of nice, and everything has like a flow to it. But I don't think I can recommend this movie, actually. It's one of those things like, there's always the original, and I think the original has its charm. This movie builds on the concept of a previous movies, like the one and the second, and the Alien vs. Predator, because I think Predators came out later than the Alien vs. Predator movies. So this could have been executed so much better, but that's just my opinion anyway. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.